that together right now. Just make sure this becomes loud.
I'd like to welcome you again to another Green Room session. I'm here with Eric Palmer, and using these times to kind of get you clued into some of the songs that are coming and some of the thoughts behind what Eric's doing with the whole worship program at Reston Bible Church. And we're here in the Green Room, and I was wondering if there's any significance that actually this is called the Green Room, but only because it's painted this. I can't imagine that if it was like an off-tan, you'd call it the beige room session. So is there any thought about it?
Well, yeah, when we moved in, the sign says Green Room, and it was white, so we thought we'd just paint it. However, historically, the Green Room is, the place that you sort of assemble before you go on stage. I don't know, give some educational content, is that okay?
Yeah, good.
Which camera do I look at?
Yeah.
The myth is that, or theory is that in Shakespeare's time, they would take the rooms off stage and fill them with topiaries and shrubberies. And because they believed that the moisture in the plants actually helped the voices of the actors, so they would go on stage feeling much more prepared for their...
That's where I went wrong.
Yeah. So that's why, and of course that's what we do here. We fill the room with plants, which we have none. But so we painted it green, and we thought also we picked this specific color of green just so that if you and I just wanted to take a trip to Hawaii, we could sort of just be there, or in a room surrounded with cats. Here we are, and all those are stupid, so we'll keep it green, and we're pretty happy with it. So
well, and if any given Sunday, if people have been attending RBC for some period of time, they'll notice that there's a variety of moving parts. You have different people that will come to be a part of the vocal aspect of what's taking place on Sunday mornings, different musicians. What's kind of your view on how you approach or assemble a team of people for worship?
There's a lot of criteria. I mean, one thing that we look for is, and one thing that I've just sort of made sort of number one in this, is that we want to utilize people that attend our church, and there's a lot of churches that do it different ways, and I just believe that for what we're doing here and sort of the time we're in right now, I really want to use the gifts of people that really call Reston Bible their home and are fully bought into what we're about here as a church. So when we have people come in and audition, one of the first questions I ask is, how long have you been attending here? Because that's important to me. And then obviously we just want to hear their story, sort of where they've come from. We've got some people that have some real interesting stories just about how they came to Christ and how they came to put sort of music and Christ in the same boat. And we're looking for just great people that just have a desire to be part of something that is really incredible, and that's just sort of leading people into the presence of God, which is an awesome thing. And in terms of just even talent level and the giftings that people have, one of the big things I look for is just people with really great instincts for music, because we don't have tons and tons of time to be preparing for Sundays. So people that have great instincts for music and just know how to play together and are courteous to each other and just great to be around. And we're so blessed with 30-some people on our team that just do a wonderful job, and I'm just so thankful that we're able to do that every week and never feel like we have an empty spot up there. So it's been a process over the last several years really to just sort of build that team, and really I just couldn't be more thankful for the people we have. So
I'm always amazed at the consistency, week in and week out. There's not like a fall off like an A team, B team, or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm thankful
it's
for that.
Just really quality every time, and it never seems like distraction. People are able to just worship. You guys do a great job of just taking us into God's presence.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we really embrace the idea of having very rarely the same assembled band together every week, because it sort of just allows you to take a song that maybe you've been singing for 5 years, and it has a different feel, just to have a different drummer or a different keyboard player, and I think it keeps things fresh. It keeps things feeling new when in fact it may not be. So it's a nice thing to have.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. You guys are getting ready to introduce a new song, "In Your Presence," and as I was listening to it, just for my own world, I was thinking about the scripture that says, "In your presence is fullness of joy, and at your right hand are pleasures evermore." And obviously thinking about my wife being in the presence of the Lord. As I listened to the song, though, it was more kind of in the feel of Psalm 139 about recognizing the presence of God day in and day out here. As people come to worship and this song is introduced, are there thoughts you have about certain people or situations you want them to really gravitate towards really understanding God's presence?
Well, the first thing that sort of caught my attention was the very first line of the song, which is, "In your presence there's freedom." Mm-hmm. And I know that I've sort of jumped on my soapbox a number of times over the years just about the freedom that we have in Christ, especially in the environment of worshiping together. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I pray about a lot on Sunday mornings, is just that we would recognize that God is here. He's present. Those of us who have trusted in Him, we have His Spirit. He has given us freedom to worship Him, and just to be able to engage with Him is an incredible thing. And every church in the world has this, this same concern about freedom and worship, and where does it resonate with your people? And obviously, my desire is just that people would walk in here and feel comfortable enough to worship God in the way they've been created to do that. And sometimes I know that even I feel a little bit hesitant to just really want to just fully embrace the idea of responding to what I'm seeing God doing, and to do that in an outward way, and without any concern with who's around me or what people may think. But that's something we strive for, is for no matter how it is that God sort of touches you, that you will respond to that in your own way, and just fully engage with Him on Sunday. So I know for me, just the idea of freedom, knowing that in His presence we have that, is incredibly powerful. And then the song goes on to talk about, in your presence we have hope, that that He's really our only source of joy and hope in this world. And it's just a great song that I think is simple, but it also, I know for me, just was incredibly uplifting, just to know that we have so much behind us when we're in the presence of God, and so much when we're even together on Sunday, that hundreds of us together can be singing the song, and just knowing that He is in our presence as we're singing, and it's a powerful thing to be a part of.
Yeah. You mentioned something that I've often thought about. On a Sunday morning, you have so much going on, so much responsibility, so many things to be thinking about. For you to worship while leading worship, is that a struggle sometimes?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it seems like, at the first service, I always feel a little bit more, I have a lot less on my mind, I think, because it's early, and that first service is a little bit more, it's a little more laid back in terms of just the fact that it's early. There's less people there, and I feel like that's really the time I really can focus on what we're singing about. But as the morning goes on, and you sort of interact with people, and people are unhappy about something or whatever, it takes your mind other places. But one thing I'm thankful for is a team that is fully supporting what we're doing, and we can come in here and just sort of chat before the service, and just feel like God is really here. And there's never been a week where I've felt like I just don't know if God is behind us this week. It always feels like things fall into place, and He is absolutely with us in everything we do. And so I'm always confident that He's going to show up, and He always does. And I'm able to cut loose some of those things, and just to be in His presence. And it is hard sometimes to just to go away from that. I try to keep myself in this room as much as possible, just because I know that I've got a job to do, in a sense, and do it 3 times, and it can be tough. But He's been gracious and has blessed us in some amazing ways. So.
Well, I know somebody who sits out in the auditorium, I really appreciate you with the entire worship team. How you guys do bring us into the presence of Christ on a consistent basis. And I know I'm looking forward to this song as it's going to be introduced, and just kind of watching how our people respond, and how you'll lead us into His presence in worship, preparing us for even the worship part of the Word that Mike will present.
Yeah, appreciate that.
say something awkward.